tell us more about how you help people to discover how that combination of values, talents,
Hmm.
even innate abilities, those are like might be undiscovered abilities or abilities that you're naturally good at that maybe you have been working and have
Right.
not been working. How do you work with people to find out what that package is?
Sure. Yeah. So that process of discovery is really about getting on the career path. And this time of the Great Resignation, that's been so interesting to me because I've been shouting this from the mountaintops. I've been in business now for 10 years, right? And I've always had the process to figure out what you want to do and who you are, and then job search. And up until about now, job search has been more popular, right? People know that I need a resume and I've got to get a job, and there's this thing that you have to go through to get a job, right? And until now, a lot of people have seen sitting down and taking a process as a luxury, right? Nice to do, I'll do it someday.
Well, you
Now,
got to eat first, right?
yeah, now people are coming in and saying, oh my God, where's this been? I needed this years ago. I avoided it. Now's the now, and do it. So, what does it really look like is a couple pieces. One is really unpacking some of the systematic messages that have been planted in your brain through family of origin, what you learned as a under 18, and then some of the, I'm just going to say, trauma that people have faced in the workforce,
Mm-hmm.
right? This has left an imprint. And so now we have all these ideas that we're operating, it's like an operating system that might not be so positive, right? So we try to unfurl that and replace it with a new positive message so that you can make more money, so that you can go for that promotion and feel confident about it. So
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Rich in Relationship. And today we're interviewing a friend who I made actually in the flesh, not just virtually, my friend Kelley Joyce, who is a career coach at The Truth at Work. And her mission is to radically change your relationship with work. How are you doing today, Kelley?
I am doing great. I'm so glad to be here.
It's so great to see you.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
you
Even
in
if
the
it's
flesh.
virtual this time.
Yeah. And I will testify for Kelley Joyce. She's worked with two of my children, and they've both been thrilled to work with her. That she's helped them tremendously. So, Kelley, how did your heart lead you to do the work that you do?
Well, at first it was, I have to admit, it was somewhat selfish, I was trying to save myself, if you will. And then it really led to others. My personal story was that I was in public relations, specifically for technology, for 20 years. And about halfway through it, I got really super stuck in the middle, at a mid management, and I struggled, and it was paired with a divorce. It was paired with moving from Boston to New York. So I really know that struggle of business and personal coming together at a moment that really didn't, that turned into a moment that was about 4 years, that turned into something really uncomfortable. And this transition from individual contributor to manager is something that a lot of my clients come to me for. The second part was later on, when I was thinking about leaving and I didn't know what to do, I really turned to coaching. I had gone to therapy, I had, talked to friends, I got a coach. And back in 2000-ish, that was like, what are you doing? What is that? you
Mm-hmm.
know and I had so much transformation around that, and so much gratitude, that when I later became super burned out as a VP and a managing director, it's lonely in the corner office, right? That I was like, I think this is what I should be doing, because my clients, who are super high level people, C-suite types, that's really what they came to me for, was to be the strategic advisor. And so I went there, you know and became a coach and did my MBA and did all these other things, because I was super burned out, and I didn't know what to do. So I know that black hole
Got it.
of, I
Yeah,
don't
and
know what to do.
that's exactly why you're on the show. Is right now in Enriching Relationship, we're talking a lot about people's sense of purpose and mission in life. And it's something that as a society, we don't talk about a lot. Like businesses have mission statements, but which they rarely live up to depending on the business. I mean, they create these mission statements and every, once a year they brush them off for a gathering of the company tribe, maybe.
Sure.
But the sense of mission and purpose in life is actually very fundamental and vital to all creatures. I just had my dogs out to the dog park, which was loaded with dogs, right?
Right.
They're all different kinds of dogs there. And each one of them has been, some of them have been bred. Some of them
Yeah.
are just randomly mixed.
Yeah.
But what I know about each of those dogs is if they don't feel like they're living their purpose, what they were bred for, or what the mix of breeds leads them to want to do, they're unhappy, right?
Oh,
A
yeah.
dog who sits around the house and eats all day is really a very unhappy dog. Not only do they want to get out inside and run, but like if you're a German Shepherd, you want to be working. German Shepherds are dogs. Some German Shepherds are bomb sniffers. Some of them are defenders of the home.
Canines.
Or a retriever. All you want to do all day is retrieve. And not only do you want to retrieve, but you want someone to take it from you. I have a retriever. Every time I come home, he brings me a toy. And if I don't tell him to give it to me, he's unhappy.
Totally.
He doesn't want me to grab it from him. He wants me to tell him to give it to me. And then he gives it to me. And he's like, oh, I did my job. He's so thrilled. And people, well, we know that all men are dogs, but people are much better, more evolved than dogs. But at our core, we are a combination of skills, talents, cultural influences, family influences, and all those things weave together so that we are like a snowflake, or maybe it's a key for a very special lock. There's something that we are a perfect fit for. And so the reason why you're here is the statistics show that 70% of Americans are unhappy at work. And we're in the middle of the Great Resignation now, where people are like, I'm done with this. And a lot of it seems to be about, bad bosses. But I don't think it's just about bad bosses. I think it's also about this thing of the fit. Is who I am, my skills, talents, my values, the things that are important to me really a fit for this work that I'm doing now. And that's something that you help people with.
Absolutely. People are unique and there's patterns, right? So to your analogy of the dog breed, there are types of people out there. I'm a Myers-Briggs personality indicator assessor, right? So, a lot of people have taken assessments and they're meant to help provide insight into, what is your DNA, what you came into the earth with, and what people who are also like you are typically like to do. And so it does provide you with that kind of insight, but then you kind of step back and say, well, wait a minute, I have my preferences that are just for me. And, how do I want to manage my destiny based on what I want? So, there's a little bit of a mix of, getting some intelligence, gathering some data around what is known for you and people like you, but also your particular circumstance and your own desires, and bringing that together. That's really the big idea.
So tell us more about how you help people to discover how that combination of values, talents, even innate abilities, those are like might be undiscovered abilities, or abilities that you're naturally good at that maybe you have not been working. How do you work with people to find out what that package is?
Sure. Yeah. So that process of discovery is really about, getting on the career path. And this time of the Great Resignation, that's been so interesting to me because I've been shouting this from the mountaintops. I've been in business now for 10 years, right? And I've always had, the process to figure out what you want to do and who you are, and then job search. And up until about now, job search has been more popular, right? People know that I need a resume and I've got to get a job. And there's this thing that you have to go through to get a job, right? And until now, a lot of people have seen sitting down and taking a process as a luxury, right? Nice to do, I'll do it someday. Now,
you got to eat first, right?
yeah, now people are coming in and saying, oh my God, where's this been? I needed this years ago. I avoided it. Now's the now, and do it. So, what does it really look like is a couple pieces. One is really unpacking some of the systematic messages that have been planted in your brain through family of origin, what you learned as a under 18. And then some of the, I'm just going to say, trauma that people have faced in the workforce, right? This has left an imprint. And so now we have all these ideas that we're operating. It's like an operating system that might not be so positive, right? So we try to unfurl that and replace it with a new positive message so that you can make more money, so that you can go for that promotion and feel confident about it. So overcoming some of those things, then knowing your skills, like sitting down and saying, here's my top skills, and knowing how to talk about it, doing an elevator pitch, right? Knowing what to say to people, right? If someone says, I'm going to pay you $100,000, what am I going to get in return? You can't sit there and go, humana, I don't know.
Well, you can, but it's not going to take you very far.
Right. It's going to be the quickest elevator ride of your life, right?
Yeah.
And then needs, and this is really what's coming up super loud in the media is needs, talking about, what do I need emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, logistically, in order for me to, say yes to a work situation that is sustainable and successful. So like one of the biggest things right now is remote work. That's logistical. People don't want to give it up, nor should they.
Well, and hopefully we'll all be working remotely more, if not all the time, forever and ever, because it seems to help your household work. And folks, I want you to get that a lot of this is not just about being happy at work. A lot of the couples that I work with come to me because one member of the pair of the partnership is going through some kind of work transition or life transition. Either they hate their job and it's that emotion, that frustration is coming out all over the place in their relationship, or they've left their job and now because they hated it, and now the fear of what's next is coming out all over the relationship. Or I get also people who are retiring and one person's working and the other one isn't, and there's a whole power shift that happens in the relationship. So this stuff is really important. It's not just about your personal fulfillment, it's about your relationship fulfillment as well. Yeah. I'm curious, I, having had some very close people in my life who have worked with you, I know that sometimes when you do Myers-Briggs and all that great testing, that people decide that they're going to enter into a kind of work that may not be in perfect alignment with the test results. And I'm curious about your opinion about what that means. Yeah. It's so good to have the data, right? But it's not the law, right? It's not some sort of thing where like, okay, now you must do this. What it actually provides is empowerment, right? Here's, what you're perhaps built for, but you decide if you have some other love that you want to go for. Now you understand why certain things happen, right? Why maybe you're in the minority of the way that you think, or your value system, or the way you handle things. And that's awesome, right? Yep. Like if you're, say you're a CPA, right? You can go choose to work at PwC, you can go work at, any of the big houses, and you're going to be surrounded by people who are exactly like you because it's PwC, right? But then you can go decide to be, the controller or the head of finance, at a creative agency, and you're the only person in those halls that are like you. Got it. Or you could, maybe you've got the skills, talents, and abilities that a CPA has, and maybe you want to apply them as an entrepreneur. I mean, it's really, I guess what really the idea of Myers-Briggs and all these great tests is, it's about self-information.
Yeah.
And so the more that you learn, and actually it goes back to this thing of purpose and mission, uh, these are big words, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, you write you decide, or you get in touch with what you think your purpose is
Hmm.
based on the information you have about yourself, and that might change over time. The more information you
Absolutely.
have, or your sense of mission, in the world might change. You're on a mission to radically change people's relationship with work. That mission may shift and change as you evolve and grow. And so it's
Yeah.
about having ways to gather information. We offer at Rich in Relationship something called the master plan. And the master
Hmm.
plan is a goal setting and empowerment program in what we see as the 12 areas of life. 6 of them are kind of super interpersonal, like between your ears, and
Yep.
six of them are in the world. And you represent the career path,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
one of the 12 paths.
Yep.
And so, we find that when people set goals and they look at, first examine all 12 of these areas of life. Some of these areas are areas that people never even thought about, like
Yeah.
character or values.
Right.
They've maybe touched on it, but they haven't really set intentions around it. That when
Yeah.
they look at these 12 areas of their life, there's a lot of self-discovery that happens in the goal setting process. And that
Absolutely.
alters their sense of purpose and mission, and helps it become more focused. So it's not like you have to come and work with Kelley and be crystal clear. In fact, the
Right.
purpose of working with someone like Kelley is she helps you get clarity on
Yep.
what your skills and talents are, what's important to you, what kind of people you want to work with, what kind of environment you want to
Correct.
be in, and
Mhm.
helps you to choose
Yes.
what is most appropriate for you today. So you
Today.
may test to be, not that I know anything about this, a veterinarian, but
Uh-huh.
have mad math skills and decide that
Mhm.
you want to use those math skills right now and
Yeah.
table those veterinary urges.
For
Or
later.
maybe that thing of being in touch with animals and helping people is going to come out in another way, even.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to have a bunch of dogs, or maybe you're
Yep.
going to volunteer.
Volunteer.
Right.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily that the test tells you you must do this. It's more that it helps you understand who you are and what you need to be fulfilled.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I find that time is a big deal, the way that we evolve, like you're saying. The beginning of I'm a big goal setter. I love that. I spend the end and the beginning of every year setting goals. I'm a big Michael Hyatt fan. So, that's the system that I use. And, trying to set down even 90 days and 1 year and 5 years and 10 years can seem kind of laughable sometimes, but you got to do it. Like it keeps you moving towards that. So, I'm turning 50 this year. So it's, kind of a lot of reflection going on. And I think about where I was at in 1992. I was a student in Galway, Ireland, right? When I came here in 2002, I moved to New York. 10 years ago, I opened my business, and now I'm moving into a new decade. And it will look different than it has before, right? I'm still me. I know a lot more about myself. I know a lot more about what I want. And some of the things I've always thought I wanted, I don't want anymore. Things are fluid.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I spent a large portion of my life sort of fighting for sustainability,
Hmm.
and running a business that was all about promoting sustainability. And then I hit this point where it's like, all right, everybody gets this. My mission is complete.
Yeah.
Right? I've
Yeah.
done everything that I can that excites me in this field, and that's when I shifted careers. So tell
Yeah.
me, Kelley, how
Yeah.
can people find you if they want to learn more?
Sure. So I have a website. It's The Truth
No,
at Work.
you have a website.
I do. It's
Thank God.
crazy.
I'm sorry. What is it? I interrupted you.
TheTruthAtWork.com, just like you could see up here in the corner. So it's
Yeah.
all that
Well, the
together.com.
podcast people don't see anything, but yes, thetruthatwork.com.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
The video blog people see it. The podcast people, they see nothing. But you podcast people, you will see it in the podcast notes. I promise you.
Great. And I am on LinkedIn, as you would suspect that I would be. So just type in my name, Kelley Joyce, and can't miss me.
And let's say somebody's, wondering about their career and they really just want to get a taste of who you are. What can they do?
So I offer a free consult. It's 45 minutes. Just sign on up if you go to the website, or if you go to LinkedIn, there is a link. And what happens in that consult is we talk about what's going on with you and your work. What's been happening, what's working, what isn't, what do you want instead? And we talk about what it might look like to coach together. So you always got a lot of value. I'm very straightforward, and I'll give you some insights. And even people who don't become my clients afterwards, write me reviews and say, wow, that's all I really needed, right? Like that pushed me over the edge and moved me ahead. But if you feel like you really need that, that program, that structure to figure out, to go from I don't know what I want to a plan, or if you know what you want and you got to go search for a job and you want to accelerate that, I do that too.
And I'm gonna give you a little push here. I want you all to know that Kelley, when she meets with you for those 45 minutes, what she gets out of it is that she is living her mission. So it may not feel like it may feel a little scary to you talking to someone about for free, but you need to know that she's actually getting something out of it, and she does this because she's on mission when she does it. So, and she's not,
Yes.
this is not this, I've known Kelley for years. She is not a hardcore salesperson. You are not going to be pushed, shoved, or cajoled into making a decision you don't want to make. She's all about delivering value.
Yes. Thank you for that. And yeah, this is my way that I give, right? And it's a tremendous joy to be doing that and meeting so many really interesting people.
Very cool. And most coaches who really are on mission and really care about people, for them, the fit is more important than the money, and that's because we want to get you there, so we don't work with people who we don't think are going to get there, wherever there is for you. So just get that, if Kelley doesn't think it's a good fit, she's just going to help you as much as she can. She might not even work with you.
Yeah. And,
So
or,
no, I don't mean it like that,
But I do refer people to, other types of professionals, right? If, say, you're maybe a few steps away from, being really ready, there's like, oh, I don't think I'm quite ready. And like the little gremlins in your head are saying, I have to get better before I do this. That's not the case, but literally there's something specific else to take care of and then come back. But it's a one-on-one situation, right? So we need to like each other, it needs to be a good fit. And this isn't easy, right? Like this isn't, oh, come in and do the session and then check out from it. This is, I hold you in a sacred container, for, however long it is, it's 8 weeks, it's 4 months, however long it's got to be. And, it's, you're all in and I'm all in. And so, you're absolutely with the fit, because if you're not willing to do that, it's just not going to work out.
So what's the legacy you want to leave behind?
Yeah. So I was really thinking about this the last few days. So one is kind of more here in the near term, which is, I work with a lot of people every year, and now, I've been getting, but now I get even more notes from people and updates about their lives being impacted. I mean, I see them in my program make changes, right?
Mhm.
But the nature of what I do is work, right? And so what does work provide? It provides money, it provides a lot of things. And so I've gone on to see people, of course, like get promoted and things like that, but their lives look totally different. Their spouses, their children, their grandchildren. It's overwhelming. I get these notes and I could cry afterwards, right?
Nice.
About how that's different. Like long term, I'm an only child and I don't have any children. And so my company is my baby, right? And for long term, I've always wanted the company to turn into more like an institute, one that studies work and provides content or exactly around the types of things we're talking about now, because that voice of, how to change your relationship with work just isn't strong enough.
Sweet. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in real life sometime, maybe this summer.
Whatever this is, but it's so good to see you and
All
hear
right.
you.